We're officially just weeks away from Samsung's next big flagship launch. And if the latest reports are accurate, Galaxy Unpacked could happen around February 25th. At this point, the leaks are basically done. There isn't much left that can realistically surprise us. So, let's go through everything we know so far about the Galaxy S26 series. What's actually changing, what's staying safe, and where Samsung is quietly taking risks. This year's lineup feels like a thoughtful evolution rather than a complete overhaul. And honestly, that might be exactly what a lot of people need after last year's changes. First things first, the lineup. There was a lot of confusion over this. For months, reports suggested Samsung might kill the S26 Plus and replace it with an S26 Edge. And honestly, my first reaction was the same as yours. Why? Leaks claimed the S26 Edge would get a large 6.7-inch display, a decent battery, and a flagship Snapdragon chip, basically doing the Plus model's job. But newer reports say Samsung quietly scrapped that plan. And it actually makes sense. If you look at the S25 Edge sales, they weren't bad, around 650,000 units in the first month. But compared to the rest of the S25 lineup, they weren't strong enough to justify replacing the Plus entirely. So for 2026, Samsung is sticking to the classics. Galaxy S26, Galaxy S26 Plus, Galaxy S26 Ultra, no S26 Edge, no S26 Pro, and as usual, the FE model will come later. Design, familiar but slightly refined. Don't expect a dramatic redesign this year. The overall design language stays close to the S25 series, but there are some noticeable refinements that should make these feel premium and more comfortable day-to-day. The S26 and S26 Plus may return to a raised vertical camera module, instead of the fully integrated lenses we saw last year. Bezels should be slimmer, displays flatter, and the phones slightly more refined in hand. Thickness-wise, the S26 Plus could land around 7.35 millimeters. The S26 Ultra might slim down to about 7.9 millimeters, making it noticeably thinner than the S25 Ultra. Corners on the Ultra are also expected to be more curved, making it less boxy and easier to hold for long sessions. Colors, and one surprise. Standard models should come in black, white, sky blue, cobalt violet, but the Ultra might experiment a little more. There are reports of bolder shades being tested, maybe even something like cosmic orange, bold, controversial, and very Samsung. It may end up as a limited or online exclusive color, but Samsung clearly wants the Ultra to stand out again with some personality. One quiet downgrade, titanium. Yes, Samsung might be ditching titanium this year on the Ultra. And the reason sounds very familiar: cost, weight, and manufacturing complexity, plus better support for magnetic charging. The upside? The Ultra gets lighter, around 214G versus 218G last year, which could make a real difference in daily use. The downside? That premium titanium flex marketing disappears, and we're back to aluminum. Display upgrades, especially on the Ultra. Screen sizes stay conservative, but with a tiny bump. S26, 6.3 inches. S26 Plus, 6.7 inches. S26 Ultra, 6.9 inches. But the Ultra's display is where things get interesting. Samsung is expected to use its new M14 OLED panel, which is reportedly 20 to 30% more power efficient, capable of higher brightness, better HDR performance. Whether Samsung actually pushes peak brightness higher is still unclear, but efficiency alone is a win, especially for all-day battery life without compromises. Built-in privacy display. This is big. One of the coolest upgrades rumored this year is a built-in privacy screen, and Samsung has officially teased it. Instead of using a privacy screen protector, the display itself limits viewing angles at the pixel level and can be turned on or off. Even better, it may activate only for specific apps, or only for sensitive areas, like notifications or PIN entry. Samsung already teased this tech publicly, calling it a new layer of protection against shoulder surfing. This could be huge in crowded places like public transport or offices. If this launches on the Ultra or across all models, it could become one of the most underrated upgrades of the S26 series. Performance. Snapdragon versus Exynos again. Yes, the debate is back. The S26 Ultra is expected to use the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 for Galaxy globally. But the S26 and S26 Plus may use Exynos 2600 in many regions, like Europe and Korea, while getting Snapdragon in places like the US, China, and Japan. The difference this year? Exynos 2600 is reportedly built on a 2nm process with major improvements in efficiency, heat management, sustained performance. Some reports even claim it rivals top chips. But let's be honest, we've heard that before. Still, if even half of this is true, this could be Exynos's best comeback in years. Storage, RAM, and thermals. Good news, 128 gigabytes is likely gone. All S26 models may start at 256 gigabytes. The Ultra could also get faster LPDDR5X RAM, better thermal cooling, slightly slimmer internal layout, battery and charging. Battery sizes are mixed. S26, 4300 mAh, up from last year. S26 Plus, 4900 mAh. S26 Ultra, 5000 mAh, no increase, a bit disappointing. No silicon carbon yet, just slightly bigger on base. Plus, charging upgrades. Qi2 magnetic wireless charging support across the lineup, though built-in magnets might depend on cases. Wireless speeds, up to 25W. Ultra may get 60W wire charging. Base and Plus likely at 45W, base possibly upgraded. Not perfect, but progress, and finally catching up in some areas. Cameras, refinement, not revolution. This is where expectations were high, and reality is more conservative. S26 and S26 Plus. Same camera layout, minor sensor refinements. Improvements mostly from processing. S26 Ultra, 200MP main camera stays. Wider aperture, possibly f/1.4 for better low light. 5x telephoto gets a brighter aperture. 3x telephoto may jump to higher res. Samsung may also switch to 24MP photos by default, similar to Apple's approach. No crazy new sensors, no massive jumps, just incremental polishing that should make photos look even sharper in everyday scenarios. AI, the real wild card. This might be Samsung's biggest play. Instead of relying only on Google Gemini, Samsung is reportedly exploring a partnership with Perplexity AI. That could mean Perplexity as a default assistant option, built-in AI search in Samsung Internet, smarter Bixby powered by multiple AI models, possibly even an AI control center to switch between assistants. If this happens, Galaxy AI could finally feel different, not just branded, more versatile and less locked into one ecosystem. Pricing and launch. In South Korea, prices may increase slightly. Globally, Samsung might hold prices steady at launch for some configs, but increases or even cuts on Ultra and spots aren't off the table due to rising component costs and storage bumps. If Unpacked happens on February 25th, pre-orders late February or early March. Availability mid-March, around March 11th. So the Galaxy S26 series isn't a radical reinvention. It's a strategic refinement year. The biggest upgrades aren't flashy. Magnetic charging support, privacy display, better efficiency, smarter AI direction. And honestly, those are the kinds of changes you only appreciate after using the phone daily. Smoother performance, better privacy, faster charging when you need it, and AI that actually helps without feeling gimmicky. Now I want to hear from you. Are these upgrades enough? Or were you expecting more from Samsung this year? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, consider subscribing. I'll see you in the next one.